On my screen currently, you guys can see my box in an order where they're sorted to where from oldest to newest, which ignore the androids because I purposely don't have them. They're sorted in release order, basically. So you'll notice that they are very, very jumpy when it comes to what they're doing for these characters. When it comes to a Zenkai, when it comes to the release of Platinum Equips, all this stuff they do is out of order. So today's video, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about several things as it pertains to Legends Limited characters in the game, the way they're being handled, and also a discussion point that I think is really interesting: Platinum Equips for both Gogeta and VEGITO Blue. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Be sure to stick around through as much as possible, as that helps tremendously on the channel. Every person that does listen all the way through, I want to say thank you so much for your support, big time, and I truly mean it. So starting things off, like I said, they jump around a good bit. I mean, they gave VEGITO Blue, actually, you know, it kind of looks like the Zenkais from the bottom are all kind of done, even though they weren't done in that order from oldest all the way through to Vegeta. There was some bouncing around, but nonetheless, at least I think there was. Nonetheless, though, we do have a number of Zenkais, and we have some characters here at the bottom of the list that are relatively new or exactly new, like Trunks just came out this month. Now, they definitely jump around, though, when it comes to the equipment for characters. If we take a look at the characters here, all of the top couple row characters have Platinum Equips, but like Ultra Instinct Goku here does not have a Platinum Equip. And then we go ahead and we go all the way down. There's several that don't and several that do, like Future Gohan or Kid Buu has one. We go all the way down, and Jiren just got one. Jiren is one of the newest characters on this list. I think the androids came out after Jiren, right? But like, he already has one. So he kind of like leapfrogged several characters. I mean, you know, you can kind of look at it. This guy doesn't have one, but you also can see that Gogeta SS4 has one. Zamasu doesn't have one. Then SS4 Goku has one. For some reason, Rose doesn't have one because he definitely needs it. Cell has one. Bardock doesn't have one when he definitely needs it. Matter of fact, Bardock just needs to return. Like, he hasn't returned. So, point is, there is a lot of bouncing, right? So I'm going to kind of explain to you guys what I think will happen in terms of equipments for those two characters I specified. And maybe if this video gets enough watch time and support, likes, comments, all that stuff, I'll come back and do this for some more characters in the future. I'm starting with ones that I think most people are interested in. So outside of that, let me show you this really quick. And if you have any feedback or comments at any point, feel free to leave them in the comments. So Jiren, he just got his. Look at how powerful this equipment is, by the way. The third slot gives you an inflicted damage increase. This is not common. Inflicted damage or any type of damage whatsoever in an equip is incredibly uncommon. Like, there's got to be only a couple handfuls of equips in the game that have anything like that. They'll typically just give you an attack increase, which Jiren actually just gives you double defense on 2 slots, which is really, really crazy. They lean heavily into his defensive ability. But they started doing this thing with, I believe, SS4 Gogeta being the first, where they're literally adding passive effects. This is a passive effect onto equipment. So that really opens the door for some characters in terms of what they could get. For example, Gogeta, I'm just going to say, probably really needs draw speed. That will probably be the one thing that I really want to see added to him in terms of what he has. By the way, I know I'm going to get asked. The border around my equips is from the Legends Pass. People ask every time they see my box. Anyways, we take a look back at some of the older equips. This one wasn't the first one, Beerus's was, but this box is sorted in order of release too, but I think I just replaced Beerus's, so for the most part it's in order. Gohan's is very underwhelming, by the way, especially in comparison. Like, some of these, like, I don't even use Gohan's. I do not use Gohan's on his team. I don't use Super Vegitos ever. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good, especially because I don't like covering that often. I just don't think it's good. Especially I don't like the pure. It's like a pure attack and pure defense slot increase equip. It's not bad. I just don't like it. I just don't like it whatsoever. This one here is a mixture of pure, and then also they've got the higher stat increases, but still not as high as the ones that we see today, going up to like 30%. And then Goten has some interesting stuff where he's got these pure attack and pure defenses. He also has this pretty unique mechanic to heal on standby while coupling with some good boosts to ultimates. But like I said, they got to the point where they started adding passives to the character-specific equips. For example, not only did they add passives, look at the peaks on these equips going up to 35%. Oh my goodness. 35. The other ones were capping at 20. Anyways, this is not even an awoken equip. Anyways, he gets extra Dragon Balls here and more damage. Literally, insane effects are being added. I don't care about these ones that are good, but they're not character specific, by the way. Sagas and tags, and I don't care about that. I care about only character specific ones. Here's Kid Buu, who I need to roll a red one on. His goes plus 10% damage, health restoration plus 20%, and they allow for him to be used on powerful opponent. Wow, he has no powerful opponent utility in this slot outside of that. Now the problem is, these equips have gotten so powerful, so powerful, and that third slot is a huge issue on these equips, I will say, because sometimes you could roll it a couple dozen times and get it. You could roll it 5 times and get the good red slot. I do not care about anything but red slots, by the way. I only care about the red slot. Sometimes you can roll it and get that pretty easy, and then sometimes it takes hundreds or almost 1,000 erasers. I use like 700 on Gogeta, and then I turned around and did the same thing on this Broly one, and it didn't take me very many to get a couple others, and it didn't take me a long time to get Jiren, but I'm still not done with Kid Buu, and it's a huge mess. I'm sure it makes them a lot of money, so it's probably the reason why the way that it is, you know, it's probably the reason why. So look at Cells here, right? Cells is insanity. Look at this stuff. He has stuff nobody else is getting. He has attacks, defenses, health restoration, key recovery, critical. Yeah, they just do everything on here. Health at the bottom, and then also he has inflicted damage because why not? And they increased the utility of his gauge. He now gets it basically a third of the way filled on entry. So like, I showed you guys all that. I said all that to say that they do this thing where characters get buffs, and they realized along the way how to make these equips, because if we go all the way back to Beerus, right, being the first LF in the game, he's so old, if you didn't know, he didn't even have a Legends, he was Legends Limited, he didn't have a legendary finish. They came back several months later and added a legendary finish to Beerus. He did not have one. The first actual legendary finish in the game was Gohan's, even though he wasn't the first LF character or Legends Limited character. Anyways, Beerus, his equip did not save him. It did not fix him. Pre and post Awakening, pre and post Zenkai, post Zenkai was okay because Beerus was the best character in the game basically, but he quickly fell off and he's not good anymore. But like these equips, the way they were designed, even at this high threshold that we see on newer ones, wasn't cutting it. That's why they said we're going to start adding passives to the equips to really fix the characters. And they toyed around with different things like pure increases like I showed, and they also have crap stuff like on Piccolo's third slot plus damage to Saiyans. Like I know the game has a lot of Saiyans, but that's just not good. It needs like 5 other things there, you know, to really be good. Anyways, so the thing about this is several of the characters have it, several don't. Future Gohan doesn't have one, for example. It just kind of, Rose really needs one. I don't know how Rose didn't get one, but Broly did. I don't know. But I can tell you there's a trend, and it depends on how bad the character really is. So there's also this thing here where, like I said, they started putting passives there, and that's a method to buff characters and bring them back to relevance. However, I want to say that if you're a character like this guy, and I'm bringing him out, but it's really not only him. There's others like Gohan and Beerus, pretty much all of the older characters that have awoken versions of their equips. If you've gotten a Zenkai one, and you've also gotten an awoken equip, if you're not good right now, you're probably never going to be good again. That's just the sad reality. And I'm not saying this guy's not good or not usable, whatever. I don't think he's great anymore. I don't think that's a hot take. Some people get offended. I don't think it's a hot take. Anyways, if you're not good with that stuff now, you won't be ever again. Unless there's like a Zenkai version 2 where they do balance changes. I've been saying this for a while. These old Zenkais are falling off and they can't keep up, especially with these new powerful equipments that are being applied to characters. So unless they're going to do a second platinum equip for characters, these characters just can't come back. Their equips are not getting these powerful passive effects that these newer ones are getting. Now, this wasn't intended to be as much of a rant, but it's kind of become one. So I want to go ahead and jump into what the video truly is. With the context explained, let's talk about Gogeta Blue's equip. The real deficiency in Gogeta Blue's kit is just the draw speed. The lack of draw speed is the main thing. He will obviously get the natural stat increases on the equip, the plus 20 to 30% or 35% defenses, attack, health. You know, they'll give him all that stuff. I'm not worried about that. That stuff will be added. His stats could be raised. That's fine. They will give him stuff like that. But Gogeta, his main issue that would truly fix his playstyle is draw speed. He doesn't have it, and without it, it really does hold him back. And it does mean that I think that would be one thing they truly add to his kit if he gets an equip that, excuse me, I burped a little bit. That third slot will be for draw speed for this guy. And it's one of those things that's like non-negotiable. They've shown us they can add entirely new things to, like, how do they add Cell's unique gauge effect to the, seriously, that one is just weird to me. How do they do that one? But I guess it's the same design choice across the board anyway, so it's not that crazy. I digress. That's the main thing. And it would really lean into his effects that he gets here. And if you're a character like Gogeta Blue, you know how I said that if you're a character that's gotten a Zenkai and equips, and especially an Awoken equip, you're really just kind of, you know, dead in the water. There's a character like Piccolo who doesn't actually have an Awoken equip. They could completely redo that equip when they want to, right? And that would bring him back to relevance, potentially. He does have a Zenkai, so he's half the way there, though. Some of those other characters have both. This guy is a unique situation where he doesn't have either, right? Same goes for like Rose or some of the better ones like the Tag Goku Vegeta or the Revive Gohan, they're not getting those stuffs. They're not getting any of that stuff anytime soon with those good ones. But this guy's in a position where he can get a lot of different buffs, right? The only other thing I really want to see added to his kit is more defense. His damage would go up, his defense would go up with the way that he is going to get more stats, but I think his damage would scale a lot nicer with draw speed and then also, again, the increased stats. And his green card is still... If you land this, if you land this, okay, this is still one of those auto win type cards. Look at the nonsense that's being applied here. Like, seriously, it's still incredibly powerful. So I think because of that and the fact he can peak very highly with damage, they would probably be a little bit more cautious with him. But I think draw speed is what he's needing. Now, speaking of cautious, you could tell when it came to his Zenkai, they played it really cautious. They took the approach of it's better for him not to be as good as possible versus him being too good again like he was back in the 2-year anniversary. However, they didn't understand the fact that Gogeta is in the game right now, the Blue Gogeta. So, not the other one we just looked at, the Blue Element Ultra Gogeta. So this guy was never going to get there. I don't care what they did, he wasn't going to get better than Ultra Gogeta. He was always going to be a secondary option. However, on teams that don't include that guy, I mean, I guess outside of the leader skill, like a future team, then that's where this guy really would shine outside of needing to be a second fiddle to Ultra Gogeta. And he really doesn't have a ton of deficiencies, but there's one glaring thing that's missing from his kit. And you could argue it would probably be too good. I don't think, for the record, I don't think if he had this, he'd be better than Ultra Gogeta. But seriously, if you think so, go back and read Ultra Gogeta's kit one more time and tell me why. Seriously. Anyways, he's missing nullify covers. Gogeta already has that, by the way. Well, both Gogetas, I guess, but the Gogeta we just looked at, he doesn't need that. The yellow Super Saiyan Blue one. He already has that. This guy's missing that. He needs it. Like, he needs it everywhere, dude. I don't understand how they can make these combo starter cards like this that don't have any way to start a combo, because you're just going to get knocked back by every single character that's releasing these days. Almost every character. Like, at least do the effect that Zamasu does where they get a couple subcounts. You have to have that on these characters because there's no value in this if you can't actually do anything with it, you know? So this, he needs it. He has the ability to draw the strikes, which is an incredibly powerful effect, but it lends itself to not stopping my combo. I found myself drop comboing more than I would like to when I use this guy, and that's the one thing that's really missing from his kit. So I do hope that they add that to him, and they could obviously monetize the equip like they're going to do with the red slot and give it a progression system like, you know, like Kid Buu is like 1%, 3%, and then 10%, and then blah, blah, blah. I don't know how they do that. Maybe they go from nullify for 5 counts to 10 counts to, or once only to twice. I don't know. We'll see, right? Now, the problem with that effect is he does have it. He does have it. Gain buff effect, nullify special action that change cover. So, like, he's a wild card because he's like the only character that has that effect here, right? Maybe. I don't know if they'll actually add it as a part of his passive, duplicating the effect basically in his kit. I don't know if they will. Is there a single character in the game that has a duplicate version of the same effect in different parts of their kit? I don't know. So that's the issue with him getting that. So outside of that, I think that they would probably lean heavily into, could you imagine if they allowed for him to draw one more strike card with the red slot on the... Please, Toshi, whatever you do not give him more cards. Could you imagine? Oh my goodness. So that's it. But I think they'll continue the approach they had and just play it safe. They'll probably design his equip something similar to Goten's. where it's just pure stuff across the board, basically. Goten's is really good. It's very unique, like I said, with that health restoration. I don't know if he gets like an actual health effect like this or health restoration like Cell had or whatever, but it's probably going to be something very, very, very similar to this. Even like SS3 or SS4 Goku's equip, it's pretty similar to that. It's very, very similar. They're not doing anything crazy here. This is not my actual one I use, but it does go down to getting this, and this is still not crazy. You know, it's very similar to that. And here's a version of Cell's, or no, excuse me, Frieza's. Again, not doing anything crazy here. So Frieza's has got to be the worst one out of all these newer ones. It really is, isn't it? Anyways, so that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll see all of you in the next one. If you haven't seen the Blue Cuda Showcase, the video should be on your screen right now. Check it out. If you made it all the way through, big ups. Thank you so much. Take it easy.